we are sitting down in a one-on-one exclusive interview with the one and only Miss Sanya Richards-Ross, who is coming off of her sophomore season on the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Right.
And she's also an Olympic gold medalist and doing some amazing things. So we appreciate you stopping by. How are you?
I'm awesome, Tyrik. Thanks for having me. This is super exciting. A lot of great things happening. So excited to talk to you about it.
Yeah, I appreciate. Yeah, we definitely appreciate you taking the time out to talk with us. So, I mean, let's go ahead and get into it. This is your second season of Real Housewives of Atlanta on Bravo TV. I mean, wow, just watching that first episode, a lot taking place, right? So, first off, let me just say the way you put on that party. I mean, that party was awesome.
Thank you.
You definitely put a whole lot of money into it. I know they was talking about you because of the previous events you
Yeah,
had,
yeah.
but you definitely showed up and showed out this time. So, congrats. And also, your husband is turned 40. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was, it's so funny because last season, that was not a party. What really annoyed me about that whole situation was I had just got my house and was really trying to get everything together. And I invited the ladies over because I was going to talk to them about the Jamaica trip. And I literally found out the day before that it was Sheree's birthday. And so I was like, oh, okay, we'll just, pull some stuff together and just at least, kind of surprise and celebrate her. But first of all, I ain't her man. I ain't her family. And I was like, I should be getting a lot of love because all these girls have been your friends a lot longer than me, and they didn't plan anything for you. So, the fact that they turned it around like I don't know how to throw a party frustrated me because let me tell you one thing I know how to do is host a bomb party. And so, my husband was turning 40, and so long before the show and all those things, I would have thrown him something really special, and it just turned out so perfectly. Like, he loves Black history and culture. He loves to gamble, so the theme was perfect, and the party was just epic.
Yeah, that's what's up. I'm a gambler, too. So,
Okay.
So ain't nothing like having some tables and stuff at your party to
fun.
get it going and stuff. So that's awesome, man. So let me ask you this. Watching the first episode, right? I mean, you having this great party, real expensive, top-notch party, right? And then you got these ladies over here who
turning
just
up,
acted a fool, So how did that make you feel like you done put all this work into this party and they over here having an altercation? I'm talking about the altercation between, we gonna get into Martell.
Yeah, because there were
Kenya,
two.
But we talking about
Candy and Courtney.
Yeah, Candy and Courtney. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit disappointing, right? Because obviously I knew that Courtney had something she wanted to say to Candy. I would have hoped she would have waited for like a lunch or a brunch, not my big 40th birthday party to like make such a big scene. So yeah, it was a little bit disappointing because it definitely took away from the party. And you'll see in episode 2 where I kind of like, okay, y'all, I got to go enjoy my party, enjoy my husband. But I think also, too, it had been a while since we had all been together. So I felt like there's a lot of things brewing off of social media, all of these things. So I wasn't surprised that it went down at my party, but I would have hoped they would, let us focus on Ross and not all the drama.
Yeah, totally understandable. Because when you in that moment, you want to be nice.
Yes.
And, everybody have a good time and stuff. You don't want
Exactly.
all that commotion at your event. So
Exactly.
I get that. But then, of course, in the preview for the next episode, we see the altercation between Kenya and Martell. So how did that even pop up? Because I know Kenya was like getting stuff a little stirred up about Martell and stuff like that. So what was going on?
Well, the funny thing is I actually wasn't there for that part of the altercation initially because I was hosting the party and really trying to make sure my husband was having a really good time. So I kind of get downloaded on it in episode 2 by Sheree and the other girls. And once again, and of course, after watching and seeing what happened actually with Kenya and Martell, I feel like I kind of get Kenya's perspective, right? Okay, she felt like this DM happened and she wants to tell her friend. She doesn't want her to hear from somebody else. Once again, is the right place at my husband's birthday party? Probably not. And then I just think it kind of went left because obviously Martell was there. When Sheree calls him over, the conversation goes left really quickly. And so you got to wait to see episode 2 where you really see like how and why it happens. And it was just fireworks. I don't have a lot to say about it because I kind of can see both perspectives, but I just feel like Martell came in hot.
We definitely
he came in hot.
seen that preview. And I kind of want to understand this because when I know she wasn't able to like look at the DM or stuff because it was deleted and stuff, but from hearing it, it also sounded like that the DM really wasn't much of anything. It was just it wasn't really like
it's a little bit of a reach.
So what was the DM, or does anybody know?
We do know. It's a good question. You're going to actually see the DM in this next episode. But it kind of sucks because, like Sheree says, if you're going to come with a receipt, you got to have a receipt. You can't have like an empty receipt. And from Martell's side, he was just basically thanking her for her kind words in an interview that she said about him when she was on air. So there doesn't seem to be any flirting there. It doesn't seem to be any reason for it to even have been brought up. But, from her side, she was like, she never read it. She never saw it. So she doesn't know what it said. But Martell was able to prove that it wasn't even flirtatious. So it was kind of a womp, womp, womp.
I feel you. Okay. All right. Yeah. Because I guess the viewers really want to know what was the message. What did it say,
you're gonna see. You're gonna see.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens within that incident. Okay. So of course we episode 1 recently just aired. So let's talk about the previous. Not previous, but what's to come within this season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I mean, what should fans be most excited about?
Well, I just feel like this season, it just feels like so much happened in the span of one season. I keep saying it feels like 2 seasons in one. And I think what makes this season so special, and I think even better than last season, is that last season kind of felt like a reset. A lot happened. A lot of the cast members were changing. Obviously, I was new to the cast. Drew was only 2 seasons in. But this year, I really feel like there are really significant, meaningful friendships. Like you see all the friendships, especially for me, really developing. And I think when that starts to happen, there's more skin in the game and there's more significance behind what everyone does and how it impacts the group. So I think that there's a lot of growth amongst the girls in the relationships that I think makes the show better. There's so much happening in each of our personal lives. It's insane. With Sheree obviously dating Martell and Kenya dating, somebody, and my family situation where my husband is completely over my mom and my sister living with us, and that gets a little bit sticky, and then Marlo and the boys, and it's just a lot that happens outside of the group. And then when we come in, then we go on a really dope girls trip. We go to Portugal, and let me tell you something, them Atlanta girls showed up in Portugal. So it's just a lot to look forward to. I think when you put together so many dynamic women that have so much going on, you're bound to have a very explosive season.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we definitely going to be looking forward to
it. I know tune in.
Speak for all fans when I say we ready.
Yes,
so,
yes.
But let me ask, so you brought up your husband and your house. You guys have a lot of people staying in your house. And I'm pretty sure that can be overwhelming. How are you how are you just balancing that? I mean, of course, you got your own kids running around the house. Yeah. And then, of course, you have your parents and stuff. So how is that? And your sister, too. And stuff.
Yeah, there are 9 of us in the house. And I don't know what I was thinking. My family and I are really close, and, we get along really well. And it was my idea, right? Like when I decided, we all lived in Texas. We had 3 homes within like a 3-mile radius. So we were always together. And then when COVID happened, we were always at my house or my mom's house. And it was kind of like, oh, this could work, right? But you don't realize you still went home. We all still went home. And so when I decided to move to Atlanta and I felt like I was going to break up the band, I was like, hey, why don't you guys come out? We'll get one big house, see if you guys like Atlanta. And then eventually, they would move out. And so, it started off good, started off cool, but it is really tough. It's tough when you have 3 different families who run their homes in different ways. You have children, that you're trying to raise in different ways. You have 3 men who are used to being like, the king of the roost. And now, that's not the case. And so, we're starting to reach to a boiling point. I'm kind of the last one to get there, but eventually I get there too. And it's just interesting to see everyone's perspective, where my husband is, my mom, my dad, and especially my sister, who I think is the most over us. And so, made for good TV.
Oh, yeah. Y'all are definitely good. And your mom is so sweet. I love your mom. Yeah, she's awesome.
She's
She
sweet-ish. She has her moments.
Oh, yeah, of course. And so, how long have you and your husband been married?
Oh, we've been together for 20 years, and we've been married. So we got married in 2010, so 13 years married.
Wow, that's awesome. I just want to say, looking at the show and, looking at past seasons and stuff, we've seen a lot of divorces, a lot of breakups. And I just want to say, I think you and Ross are probably one of the best couples to do it.
Thank you.
You guys are doing a good job. And,
Thank you.
Tell everybody, what is the key to longevity in marriage?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you. And we don't take it for granted. And especially, even going into reality TV and going into a show like this where people always talk about the marriage curse and all that. We've been even more mindful about, putting our relationship first. And I think that the show has actually brought us closer together, which hasn't been the experience, I guess, for most. But I think for Ross and I, we met when we were in college, and we have really grown together. We are that couple that we were together shooting in the gym, right? Like, I saw him put in the work to make it to the NFL, and he was there for me before I made it to the Olympics. And so our foundation is really, really strong. And then for us, the key to our longevity has always been great communication. And I think that when you can get to a place with someone where you can tell them the truth, even when it hurts, and you can talk about how you feel, and you guys can really address difficult things, that is when I think you have a relationship that can stand the test of time. And, Ross and I have always strived to love each other unconditionally. So it's like, it ain't going to be easy. We ain't perfect, but we just want to be there for each other on this journey and love each other unconditionally. So I love my husband, and I'm just, prayerful that our relationship continues to grow even through all the things that we do.
Yeah, that is awesome. Congrats to you guys on
Thank
20
you.
years. That is huge.
Thank you.
Everybody makes it to that. So,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, definitely kudos to you guys on that. So let's talk a little bit about what you have going on business-wise and stuff. I know I saw you just came out with the bop, bop, bop.
Yes, hoodies and tees,
and stuff like that. And then you got a lot going on with Mommy Nation and stuff. So tell us what's going on in your business ventures.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. So, the main project that I've been working on for the last 4 years is Mommy Nation. And Mommy Nation is a blog and community resource that focuses on enriching the motherhood journey of Black mothers. And so we do that in a variety of ways through our blogs, where we have people write, we have the everyday mom write. We also have scholars that are, contributing great resources for Black moms to help them on their journey. We do Fit Mommy challenges. We do all kind of community building things. We launched our nonprofit last year. And Tyrik, I cannot wait for y'all to see our Mommy Nation brunch that was hosted on the show. It was epic. We raised almost $100,000. All the ladies showed out. Kenya Moore was in rare form. I'll leave it at that. But, it's just been really great. Like, the show has been such a great platform for us to be able to share what we're doing with Mommy Nation. And I hope that we can continue to grow and serve more moms in our community, especially the moms that need it the most, to, ensure that their families are thriving. So that's Mommy Nation. I have another business I'm launching at the end of this year that also is on the show, but I don't want to talk about it yet because I have my whole little plan on how I'm going to put it out there. But it's another project I'm really passionate about. It has to do with family and creating memories. And so I'm super excited about that. And then, the Bop 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 hoodies and tees, those are actually in partnership with Mommy Nation. Obviously, that was like my line last season, everybody was saying. And so if you want to grab one, they're available on mommynation.com. But, Mommy Nation is really the business, and Bop 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 is just like, something we did for fun.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And you know what I like? What I like about the show is that things that you guys say on the show or things that y'all do, y'all take it and then y'all turn it into some dollars.
You got to use the platform for something.
Absolutely. Like, you got the Bop Bop Bop, Sheree got the Who Gon' Check Me Boo and stuff. So,
right, yeah.
So that's awesome that you guys are finding ways to turn that stuff into some dollar bills. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, to be very honest, the Real Housewives of Atlanta platform is a very unique one, a very special one. And so I think most of us, obviously, outside of opening up our lives and being exposed to, all that comes with that, it does provide opportunities for us as Black women to grow as entrepreneurs. And I think most of us see it as a great opportunity and continue to try to find unique ways to grow in that way.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. And are you going to be at the, I want to say I may have seen you on the flyer, but are you going to be at the Women's Expo here in Atlanta?
No, I'm going to be out of town. So I wanted to be there. I had been approached to be there, but I'm going to actually be in India when that's happening. So booked and busy.
hey, that's how it is. So any other events that fans can catch you at?
So, I still, alongside obviously filming for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, I work with NBC as a track and field analyst. And so I do all the big meets, so you can hear my voice on the World Championships, the Olympics, all of those things. I still work with Nike as a brand ambassador. I'm shooting a really cool campaign in a couple of weeks that will be out. So, I think the best way to keep up with me is through social media at Sanya Richie Ross on all platforms. I share all things family, everything there, and you can always know what new projects I'm working on. So follow me on Sanya Richie Ross.
That's what's up. We're gonna make sure. We tap that follow button. So let's talk about that, because you said so. Working with Nike, that's awesome.
Thank
Congrats on that. That's pretty big. So you said you guys are going to be launching a campaign. So what's the campaign going to consist of?
Yeah, so sure. So actually, when I was competing, I signed with Nike in 2004. So And when I retired in 2016, I became the first athlete that they kept on post-retirement since Carl Lewis. So I've now had an almost 20-year relationship with Nike, which has just been phenomenal. They support Mommy Nation, all the things that I do, and they've just been a great, great grand partner. And so I did a really cool back-to-school campaign with them going into this school year, and I think they're doing another version or iteration of that I'm going to be filming next week. I don't know all the details because my life goes so fast. I'm like, okay, I read the brief when I'm on the plane. But I want to say it's something about maybe some like school or kids campaign that we'll be filming.
That's awesome. Yeah, congrats on that.
Thank
and then
you.
you also mentioned the Olympics. I want to talk a little bit about
Sure.
that. I mean, you are living testimony. I mean, there are so many people who want to make it to that stage, and you've done it. What type of dedication did it take to get to that level?
Oh, my goodness. It was a life commitment. I started running when I was 7. By the time I was 9, I told my grade school teacher I'd be an Olympic champion, and I basically worked until I was in my 30s to achieve those goals. But it was the ride of a lifetime to be able to travel the world, to represent Team USA. It was a dream come true, but obviously a lot of hard work. I always said it was a full-time job. I'd be on the track for 4 hours, in the weight room for 2 hours. I did Pilates an hour a day. I used to do 1,000 sit-ups every single day. Obviously you take naps, you're resting, you're taking ice baths. Like, you're fully committed to, getting the best out of your body every single day. And so, it was all worth it. 4 gold medals in the Olympics and a bronze, and tons of world championship medals, American record holder, all of that for me, it just kind of gave me the confidence to be able to go out and set new goals and believe that I could achieve them as well. So to any young listener listening, the sky's the limit, just dream big, work hard, and it's definitely possible.
That's awesome. We appreciate you sharing that, experience, because that is something that's, like I said, it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that everybody doesn't have a chance to achieve, and you've done that. So that is awesome. Living testimony.
Thank you.
We love to see it.
Thank you.
That's great. So we're about to close out in just a sec, but of course I want to shift back to the show, of course.
Sure.
So shifting back to the show, I got to ask you, a lot of people on the show, Real Housewives of Atlanta, are business owners. Besides yourself, who can you say is doing it the best in business? Who do you think is doing it the best?
Well, I think that, the person that most of us admire and would give that spot to is Kandi Burruss and her husband, Todd. Like, they have been able to parlay their success. She went from music to television, and then she has all of these businesses as well as her acting career and all of those things. So she's one of the women who I truly admire. And when I thought about coming onto the show, I was like, wow, Kandi for me is one of those people who I admire and would love to kind of pattern my transition off of from the track to television, all those things, off of. But all of the women on the show are great entrepreneurs in their own right. Like Kenya has her Kenya Moore business. Marlo has her archive, Sheree, She by Sheree, Drew, still figuring it out, dropping with Drew and all of those things. But she's also new to the platform too. But, I think Kandi's definitely the front runner and the one that most of us aspire to continue to grow our businesses like.
So would you say Drew needs some work?
You said that, Tyrik, not me.
I'm asking you. I'm just,
No, okay, listen. Drew is going through so much right now, with her marriage and stuff, that I feel like obviously that's her focus, is family and stuff. I know that this season, honestly, prior to us finding out about the divorce, Drew was having a dynamic season as far as like the growth in her career. She's the music. She's going to be doing music this year. She's acting. So all those things are going very well for her. Just unfortunate that, her marriage just seems to be falling apart. So I'm only sending good energy and love to Drew right now and hoping that, all is well with her.
Yeah, I know that definitely had to be a shock when you all found out about that. So I did see some blog. I'm not, you can verify this for me, but did you guys, once that came out, did y'all film additional episodes that we'll see this season?
Yeah, so what happened was the news broke after we had wrapped principal photography. So we still film, even now we do green screens and all those kinds of things, but the main part of the show had ended. And so when the news broke, we were actually all filming green screens at that time. So they just kind of brought cameras back up to just kind of get, I wouldn't say it might just be one episode. It's not like a ton of episodes, but yeah, they did pull cameras back up, and we did film a little bit to capture what was going on in the moment, which, like I said, really sucks because you never want to see that happen. But yeah, so they were able to cover in real time, when that news broke of their divorce.
Gotcha. Okay. And if you can share, if you do know, but when watching them, we did kind of see them go through their stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what was that breaking point? Was like, I'm done. Like, what was that breaking point?
Yeah, I mean, definitely not for me to share. I have spoken both to Ralph and to Drew and have heard both of their perspectives. But it just seems like a lot of things went into, the demise of their marriage. I'm still hopeful that they can figure it out because, to be very honest with you, I think they have a beautiful relationship and I've seen them at their best. And I think that there's something special there. They have 3 beautiful children that I think is worth fighting for their marriage. But I think that that's for Ralph and Drew to share, what the breaking point of their marriage was.
Okay, got that. I respect that. Yeah, we'll let them share.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, like you said, hopefully they can, come to a good place.
Yeah.
And, hopefully they can be at a good place and stuff. So I want to ask you this, going through this season, of course, we all know that Real Housewives of Atlanta, there is never a lack of drama. There is always something.
Always something.
So, you probably knew this question was coming, but this season, I mean, who are you not caring for this season? Who got on your nerves?
They all got on my nerves at some point or another. No, I actually pretty much get along with almost everybody most of the time. I think the trickiest relationship I have on the show is with Kenya, because Kenya and I get along great when it's just her and I, but the dynamic sometimes with the group, because Marlo and I are so close, she won't say it's true, but I feel it. Like, it's a little bit off between her and I whenever it's the full group dynamic, but it's cool. At the end of the day, like, I have my own relationships with the girls, and I'm never going to let my relationships be dictated based on somebody else's experiences. I treat people the way they treat me. And Marlo has been an amazing friend to me, and I'm going to hold her down. And Kenya and I are cool. Obviously, I'm cool with all the girls. But yeah, I would say probably the dynamics with Kenya and I are always a little bit tricky because of how close Marlo and I are.
Okay. All right, then. Hey, listen, we're going to stay tuned and we're going to watch. Just to close it out, go ahead and let everybody know where they can follow you and how they can support you.
Sure. So thank you so much for listening. This is Sanya Richards-Ross, and you can catch me on all social media platforms at Sanya Richie Ross.
Awesome. We appreciate you so much for stopping by the studio. And hey, fans, y'all can check out The Real Housewives of Atlanta Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Bravo TV.